Well, here it is, April 12th, 2022, and in a land that's usually bright and sunny, about 16, 18 degrees Celsius, it's 3 degrees Celsius and it's almost snowing. The weather is just simply not getting any better. Good morning, Gary from G&H Honeybees. 14th of April, 2022. It's about 6 degrees Celsius, maybe 7 degrees. And because I haven't been able to do a whole lot of beekeeping, I thought I'd show you a project that I was working on. And if you recall from some of my previous videos, I turned my wand into what was lovingly called a Frankenwand, and I had a dish on here and I had it epoxied into place, and I had a tube coming out the front so that it would shoot acid into the oxalic acid into the back of the beehive. But when I got it out this spring to do my first treatments, all that epoxy had cracked, it had fallen apart, the whole thing fell apart. So I thought I would create a new one, and this is what I've come up with, and I'll show you a little bit about how I constructed it. The heater coil, the heater here, this came out of the actual wand, and it's just a glow plug from a diesel engine. And what I've got for the barrel is, now I've got a 2-inch piece of pipe in here, but this is a 1-inch diameter, just galvanized piping. And on the bottom, under here, under the fiberglass, I have the cap screwed onto it. See if I can get this screwed on here. Threads are a little mucked up. Anyway, I have a cap screwed onto the bottom, like so. And I took my belt sander, now you can see that's a little bit round. And you want good surface-to-surface contact between this aluminum block and the cap. So I took my belt sander and just flattened the bottom of this one off. And this aluminum block is actually a heater block from a 3D printer. They're really cheap, and they already have the holes and stuff drilled in them, and also got a set screw to hold the heater coil in place. And it just so happens that the end of this heater coil that's here is the exact same size as the hole in this heater block. So what I did was I found pretty much the center position of where I could put that heater block on there, like so, marked through this hole, and then I drilled a hole through the cap, and we're not going to be able to see down in there. Yeah, drill a hole through the cap and just put the stainless steel bolt down through from the inside and tighten it down with a nut, and that just fits right through that, through there. So that holds the heater block onto the bottom of the cap, and the heater block just fits in there. And then I drilled a hole in the side higher up, just enough to fit my brass tubing, and so the brass tubing just fits in there. And I've got this piece of metal strapping That's pretty common, pretty cheap material. And that fits around there, and I've got a hole big enough in the front of it for the tube to go through. So that tube just goes through there and right into the 1-inch pipe. And then I've secured the back of the strapping with another bolt. Just bolted that together. And I've left enough strapping so that I've got 2 holes here. And I took a piece of 1-inch dowel and cut a slot in it. And that extra bit of strapping slides right into the slot in the dowel. Drill 2 holes directly through that, match up to the holes in the strapping, and that gives you a handle. And the only other thing that I took off of what I had on the Frankenwand was my meat thermometer. And what I've done on the cap that's in here is through this ribbed portion of the cap, I've just drilled like a 1/8 inch deep hole, 1/8 inch wide into this cap, so that the point of the thermometer just sticks into that hole. I don't think you want to go all the way through. I don't know how the oxalic acid will react with the metal in the meat thermometer. So it just sits in there and reads the temperature of the outside of this cap. And then I just glued that onto the handle, like so. So it's stuck in there. And then I took my exhaust pipe wrap, put 2 layers of it over the top, and then put 2 layers of it around. And you can see it's just held in place by zip ties right now. And I put a little bit of high temperature RTV on here, just to seal up the bottom of it a little bit where the gaps in the pipe wrap are. And that's my new oxalic acid vaporizer. Now, because a glow plug needs a 12 volt negative, I don't know if the sun's not quite in the right place here. You see down in here, that's the bolt that I put through to secure the strap onto the pipe. So I put one end, the negative lead, onto there, and it's attached to that bolt, and because that strapping is attached to the pipe, it will create a current from here through to here. And of course the positive lead is just secured on there. And the wire I used is simple automotive wire. But I would imagine if you wanted to use an old, extension cord, you just clip the ends off and put on some grommets on the end, and then on the other end I got these really cheap battery clamps, and I just soldered them into place on there. So that's the makeup of it. I'll show you how it works. So let me clear this off. I'll get it plugged into the battery, and I'll be back in a minute when it heats up. And just seeing if we can get an image to show you how the thermometer's working. Okay, I've got my mask on, so it might be a little difficult to hear, but it's up to temperature. It's 410 degrees. In the bottom of this top cap, I've got my measured amount of oxalic acid powder.
And that, just hold it upside down and get my fingers to work right. I get that screwed on there. So just screw that on there until it's kind of snug. And when you put it into the hole in the back of the hive, flip it upside down. There you have it, pretty much done. And then I can move on to the next box. One thing I've learned about this is not to leave that cap on there while it's cooling down. Oxalic acid seems to make a really good welding agent, because it'll just glue that cap right onto there as tight as it can get it. And you're going to have a rough time getting it off. Anyway, that's my new oxalic acid wand. I didn't use copper because this cap is $2.29 here in Canada. The pipe was $2.49. The rest of these things were, like, I had this dowel, that's pretty cheap. Brass tubing is pretty cheap. But I did look at copper, 1-inch copper fittings like this, and a piece of tubing was $23 for the pipe fitting, and the caps were $17. So I didn't bother going any further with that, on making it out of copper. I could have, but I didn't feel like selling out the money.
There, alright, got my mask off again. So there you have it. And that's all there is to it. And see, it doesn't take long for it to get back up to temperature. So it's already back up where I could do another treatment. That's why I have an extra cap. I want to get some more of these. And then I can just move along from colony to colony and give them a treatment. So that's my version 2.0 in a nutshell. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're all having a great day and staying safe and happy, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.